The traditional way of conducting keyword research and topic ideation is completely broken. The vast majority of companies are way too focused on utilizing tools like Ahrefs, SEMrush, Google Search Console even, to start with that as their initial core starting point for building topics and content for SEO purposes, for LinkedIn organic, for paid ads, right? And the problem with that lies in all of the data that you need. The starting layer should come directly from the mouths of your customers or from your prospects. The process that you should be following as a SaaS business to really hone in on what you need to be creating is, first of all, number one, coming from listening to actual sales conversations and understanding what are those common questions that you hear as a recurring theme during your sales calls. What are those common objections that you are hearing during sales calls? As you start to see a theme recurring between those calls, then you can start to build a use case of, okay, well, here are typical questions that we know we can address in the form of video content, in the form of content for organic SEO purposes, in the form of LinkedIn organic for our audience, right? That is the content that people actually want to see and hear and have value from actually engaging and learning from. That is the content, and those are the topics where you start to build your actual keyword research from. And now if you have this list, you can start to expand on it and start to build categories underneath of common questions, right? Sub-questions and subcategories. This should be the driver of your entire content strategy. And when I say content, again, I'm not specifically referring only to written content, because now basically everybody is creating written content. Google and LinkedIn and everywhere is just flooded with written content, with content that is being generated by ChatGPT and AI, right? So thinking outside of, okay, not only how do we attract people, how do we build content around that in the written format, but then how do we also leverage that in a video format, right? How do we have our founder actually speak to those questions, or our head of sales speak to those questions in a funny, informational, and educational way that, again, we're not only targeting only organic search, but we have that and we can then dice that up into for YouTube or for LinkedIn organic content. But again, the point I want to harp on here is that you can't magically run competitor analysis and start to build content based on what your competitors are doing. That'll tell a very, very small portion of the story. And the same thing goes with extracting that data from tools like Ahrefs or SEMrush, right? That is not where you start your content strategy. Your content strategy and your keyword research as an initial starting point, again, comes from sales conversations. It comes from customer success conversations that you're having with existing customers. That will then give you the data that you need to start to build content that actually resonates with your audience and that actually adds value to your audience, rather than just simply ideating topics that you think they want to hear about or they want to be educated on. Then you'll actually know specifically what they want. I challenge you to do yourself a favor this year. And when you're starting to think about doing keyword research, when you're thinking about building on top of your current content plan, or maybe you're starting out from scratch, where you should start with and where you should pull that data from is from the mouths of your prospects and from your customers. And I promise you, if you follow that strategy, you will be able to massively build an empire of content in video format, in social format for organic SEO purposes that will actually add value, that will actually help you to attain and acquire customers, because then you're hyper focused on what they actually want to know and what they actually want to be educated on to help to push them further down to finally making a purchase decision.